other questions. Is it single player or is it multiplayer? Because again, that will change the kind of things that you can use in your game. Perspective. So perspective is kind of means the type of view through which you see the world. So a few examples here. Top down means that there's kind of a camera. Imagine if there's a camera looking down at me and I was looking around. That's kind of what top down means. You could also call it, most games are actually isometric, which is a very specific, like 45-degree view of the world. That game is Zelda. I don't know if you guys have heard of Zelda. But that's one of the older Zeldas. Zelda also is now, there are 3D versions of Zelda. Side-on game or side-scrolling, we call that. It's kind of like like Mario as well. That's Rayman there. Rayman Origins, which is a similar game to Mario. Portal, which is one of my personal favorite games ever, is a first-person game, which means it's kind of like it's supposed to be like seeing out of the eyes of the person you're playing. And then third person, which is where there's a camera sort of hanging back here, so you can see the world and the character in front of you as you walk around. And again, that's Mario Galaxy. So that's really important because it pretty much defines everything. So once you've kind of got all that stuff in mind, you've got an idea for of who you're making a game for, you've got an idea of what you're trying to, what type of experience you're trying to give them, and you've got an idea of what kind of mechanics you want. Why are people playing the game? What are they trying to do in your game? What is their motivation for playing the game? So I've got a few more examples. And this is generally a really simple question to answer. So Angry Birds. When you're playing Angry Birds, what are you trying to do? Yeah.
Get rid of the pig.
Okay. But it's not that simple, is it? Like, you can knock down a tower, but why would you want to play the same level again? Yeah.
To get points.
Exactly. Points are the classic game designer sort of like shortcut to making people want to play the game more. You put a number on something and people immediately want to make that number go higher. It's like human nature. People can't help it. If you play a game like Skyrim, you probably are very aware of having what level you're at, right? You play a game, oh, I've got to level 5, that's amazing. But hey, level 6 is right there. I should keep playing and I'll get to level 6. Oh, but level 7 is so close as well. Points. In this case, you're not going up level, you're just earning more points. And every level of Angry Birds scores you and you earn stars. So if you do okay, you'll get 1 star. If you do great, you get 3 stars. And if people are sort of completionists, they will try to get 3 stars on every level, which means they play the game a lot more and they get a lot more sort of attached to it because they're testing them and people like the challenge. Mario, again, everything comes back to Mario. Anyone know what the objective is in Mario? Yep. Exactly. So that's the flag is basically just the end of the level. You start on the left-hand side of a level, and you have to deal with everything in between and try to get to the right-hand side of the level. And for the player, generally, it's kind of the reward for getting to the end of the level is another level, and then it's another level, and it's another level. But if the game is good enough, the game is compelling enough, then that's enough for reward. More content, you could call it. More games to play is a good reward if the game is good. FIFA. Yeah. So I think the objective of FIFA is fairly obvious. Well, yes, but it's specifically to score more goals than your opponent, right? FIFA's understandable because everyone knows football. So, but that's a good example of a competitive game. As some people are very competitive. As soon as they have the opportunity to be better than a friend or better than someone they know, it becomes really, really exciting. And then my last example is Mario Kart, which is the same thing. The goal is to get to the finish line faster than everyone else. So think carefully about your objective, because that is what players will want to do and why they will want to continue playing the game. Oh yeah, Minecraft was the last one. The great thing about Minecraft is it kind of doesn't really have any objectives. what I call sort of player defined. It's up to the player to decide what they want to do. I mean, I know there's a mode which is kind of like a single player thing, but generally, you just make stuff or like hit hits.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
So before the sensation of Minecraft, if someone had come to you and pitched it and said, and you'd have asked, so what's the objective? Oh, there isn't one. Would you have said, level work, forget it?
No, absolutely not. Well, I mean, I can say that easily now.
Yeah.
I've never been in a position where I've had to. I can guarantee.
Does it kind of break the rules?
Well, I think I will guarantee you that if someone had gone to like a publisher, like the people who make Call of Duty or whatever, and said, "Yeah, I have this idea for a game. You kind of just walk around and pick stuff up and
just do
hit rocks, and then you put the rocks down, and then you hit more rocks, and then you put those rocks down somewhere else. You kind of make.
They'd be calling security.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this doesn't really. They'd probably be telling you that this doesn't really fit their target demo. 18 to 35-year-old males or whatever. And the fact is, the reason Minecraft is such a massive success, well, one of the reasons, is that it lets people do whatever they want. Turns out people don't necessarily like being told what to do all the time. So yeah, it depends what kind of game you're making, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. So, theme. So now we've got all that. We've kind of theoretically designed this game. We know what our mechanics are, and we know what our goal is. Now we just kind of have to wrap it up, right? It has to be about something, and the theme is kind of like, what's the art going to be? What's the music going to be like? It could be what the story is as well. All that stuff contributes to how the game is presented. And so what I've done is I've got a few examples here about 3 games, which are all kind of the same type of game. They're called point-and-click adventures. I don't know if anyone's played one of these. They were very popular back in the early 90s. They're experiencing a bit of a revival now. But basically what you do is you'll have a character on screen, and you'll be playing it with a mouse, and you'll point, you'll click somewhere in the world, and he'll walk there, and you'll pick up items, and you'll combine items to solve puzzles. And they're kind of slow-paced. They don't really have explosions, and you're not shooting people in the face. But they kind of a bit more like The Room, actually, where there are puzzles to solve. And this is how they've used Steam. So the first one, this is a game called Curse of Monkey Island. It's quite a famous series of point-and-click adventures. And it's got a pirate theme, which is a really strong theme because everyone knows what pirates are. As soon as Pirates of the Caribbean came out, suddenly that kind of theme was brought back into the mainstream, and it was a big deal again. So yeah, this uses pirates. So then the next game, which bear in mind, is practically, it's not Mario, because Mario's not a point-and-click adventure. There's basically the same type of game, has all, I would say, the same mechanics in it. It's called Day of the Tentacle. It's made by the same company. Made by a company called LucasArts. You might know from Star Wars. These were the first games they made, which had nothing to do with Star Wars. And the theme here is sort of alien invasion, B movies, old, cheesy alien movies from the 50s. And then the last one is Full Throttle, which again is by LucasArts because they made all the best adventure games, which is themed around biker games. But I need to emphasize, all these games have pretty much the same mechanics, but the art, the music, the story, and the individual puzzles in them are all different. And that's how powerful a theme can be. A good theme. So yeah. So a few rules of thumb that I thought of when you're thinking about what your game's going to be. Right? You'll have an idea and you'll be thinking about features you can add to your game. Maybe you're saying, well, I want you to be able to swim in this game. I came up with 6 questions that you should probably ask yourself every time you come up with an idea for a feature. So 1, does this feature work with our goal for the game design? So I don't know if you remember before, I talked about how one of the most important things when you're starting up a game is what are you trying to achieve with your game? In your case, it's to help with learning. So if we're putting swimming in, does that help with teaching people? Well, it might teach people about swimming. It might be right, it might be wrong. Just think about it. Will our players like and understand this feature? Understanding is really important. if I was making a game for, 30-year-olds versus, say, 5-year-olds, I'd have to really think about the kind of, under the way that they would understand my game and how much understanding they'd be able to bring, how much I'd be able to expect from them. Does this feature keep the design simple is the next question. For me, simplicity is really important. Don't try to be complicated. Don't try to make extravagant designs, because even experienced people get that wrong. Always start simple, because you can make something which is simple good a lot easier than you can make something complicated. Next question, does this feature work with the theme of the game design? So I talked about theme just now. If you have, let's say you have a game set in space and you wanted to put something in about a mechanic in where you were swimming, again, that probably doesn't work too well together. There isn't that much call for swimming in space, so it's kind of a pointless feature. And then if we use this feature, do all the other features still work? Sometimes you might have a really great idea, but it just doesn't fit with all the other things you've got. And the last one, and this is only if you're really making a game, this is something we have to worry about with deadlines and such. Can we actually make this feature in the time we have? So someone might say, yeah, I want you to be able to walk, I want to make a big open world city, and I want you to be able to go inside every single building and talk to every person. Well, sure, that sounds fun and should be interesting, but I don't think we have the budget all the time to make it. So it's out. And that's as simple as it is. If you can't make something, then it's out. Okay, to sum up, figure out who your audience is, decide on your design goal, what you're trying to achieve, design one or more mechanics which are suitable for your audience and achieve your goal, design an objective which works with your mechanics. So in other words, decide on an objective and then make sure your mechanics allows the player to achieve that objective, and then decide on a theme which sort of wraps everything up in a nice, attractive wrap. And thank you. Good luck.